Here we go again. Right, so in today's session, we're going to be doing some jazzy, wonderful bluesness. And we're just starting. The first chord that we really need to get our heads around is this G7. If you want to just use an open G7 chord, that's totally cool. But to get the most out of this, you'll want to learn this little G7 shape. Now, I would suggest you play it like this, with your first finger 3rd fret E string, second finger 3rd fret D string, and third finger 4th fret G string. Okay? The reason for that is that it is a movable shape, and it also has this fantastically almost Joe Pass-like quality, okay? Because actually, when we play like a bar chord, for example, all right, we're playing loads of the same notes repeated, and actually we kind of don't need to do that. When we play a G7, we could play this, but there's a lot of stuff going on, but actually we can just do that. Keep it simple, keep it cool. That's how I describe it. So to play that chord, first finger 3rd fret E string, 3rd fret D string, second finger, and then 3rd finger 4th fret G string. Okay, now it's worth just getting really super comfortable with that chord, and already we can make it super jazzy by just squeezing it and releasing it. You could strum it if you wanted to. If you were going to do that, just use your first finger in a really lazy way so that it mutes all the strings behind. So if you strum through all the strings, we only hear the notes that we fretted. Or you can use your fingers. I'm using thumb, index and middle to play E, D and G. And we can already, as I say, make it super jazzy by doing things like this. Okay, just experimenting with long and short notes. And then experimenting with playing between bass and chords. What I mean by that is playing with thumb and then index and middle separately. So we're going between E and D and G. For example, we might want to go E and then D and G together. And then maybe you want to make D and G slightly shorter. Then you want to mix them up. Instant jazzy funkiness. So it's really worth getting super cool and comfy with that chord. Also, as I mentioned, it's a movable one. So this is a G7. If I move it up 1 fret, I've got a G sharp 7. And then if I move it up another one, I've got an A7. A sharp 7, B7, C7, C sharp 7, D7, D sharp 7, E7. Nice and simple. Fantastic. Now we are going to have 4 bars of that. Let's just build up to our 12 bar here. So keep it super simple. Don't worry about strumming right now. We're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Fantastic. Then we're going to go to C7. Now we could use this movable shape and move it all the way up here, but we're going to play it super cool and play it here with this lovely little tasty triangle shape. And it's easy to move to from this G7 as well. We'll explain that in a minute, but I'll firstly just tell you how to play it exactly. Second finger, 3rd fret A string. First finger, 2nd fret D string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret G string. Okay, it's this chord down here that we're looking at right now. So 2nd finger, 3rd fret A string, 1st finger, 2nd fret D string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret G string. Yeah! So if we're moving from the G7, it's super easy. All we have to do, so play G7, and then you can take away your first and second finger, move your third finger down to the third fret, and then pop in your first finger and second finger. Just worth spending a little bit of time there, just changing around. Feels like a sort of a musical interlude, doesn't it? While everyone just works on their little chord changes there. Now I'm neglecting to talk about the right hand again. I'm going between this thumb and two fingers thing again, alright? Now my thumb has just switched down to the A string, but my index and middle are still playing on the D and G. However, you could strum it. You could strum it with your thumb. Just that lazy first finger again mutes all those notes by just touching the strings. Cool. Okay, so with these chords in mind, we can already play this. Now, if you're not feeling too adventurous and you don't want to do those, you could play these chords how you already know them. Maybe you know a C7 and a G7 like this. You're welcome to do it like that. That's totally cool. But ultimately, we should have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 5. C7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. G7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Let's go back to the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now those of you who are a little bit more advanced, maybe you just want to start putting in some extra notes, all right? I'd really suggest keeping it super simple. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, that kind of thing, all right? Keep it simple, and it will give you space to do cool stuff in between it. So let's just do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Back to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Fantastic. Then we're going to do this. Alright, if we don't want to do that right yet, we can just play the simple chords first of all. So in this little turnaround, we're going to go G7, nice and easy. Then we're going to go to E7. Now actually, it is kind of easy because it's exactly like our C7, but it's right up on the 7th fret. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, like this. Okay, so that's G7, 2, up to the E7, 2. And then we now go to an A minor 7. This is how you play that. You can either just lay your first finger across all the strings and just play E, D, and G, or you can do this. Feels better to start with your second finger, E string, 5th fret, third finger, D string, 5th fret, little finger, G string, 5th fret. And then D7, which is just the same as C7, but it's on the 5th fret. Okay, that's soon going to translate to... Alright, so let's go over the simple way of playing that first again. So we're going to ignore all these little notes being moved around here, and we're just going to play each individual chord. So for that, the easiest way to do this is to zoom in up here. All right, we're going to go G7, E7, A minor 7, D7. So let's get those chords now. G7, nice and easy, because we've done it loads already. E7 is the same as our C7, but on the 7th fret. So put your second finger 7th fret on the A string, first finger 6th fret on the D string, and third finger G string 7th fret. Okay, now if you're strumming, just use that first finger again to mute all those strings, or use thumb, index and middle, playing the A, D and G. A minor 7, okay? You can play it lazily, just with your first finger across. I say that lazy, I mean lazy in the sort of good way of using the word, because lazy is good in my book, all right? But if you want to do it in another way, maybe you struggle with bars, just put your second finger 5th fret E string, third finger 5th fret D string, little finger 5th fret G string. That's our A minor 7. And then D7 is second finger 5th fret A string, first finger 4th fret D string, third finger 5th fret G string. Or in other words, it's the same as that C7 and E7, but it's on the 5th and 4th fret. So we've got G7, E7, A7, and D7. Okay, I'm going to work through those again. G7, then up to the E7, then down to the A minor 7, and then to the D7. Now, the only bit that's a bit tricky about that is we're going to move a little quicker, because we're going to do this. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We're playing 2 beats to a chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm going to go a little slower, but we're going to play it with the right values. Okay, so after 4, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, G2, E2, A2, D2. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, G2, E2, A2, D2. Okay, now it can help also just to play the root notes, all right, to keep you sort of going with this. So that would be E 3rd fret, A string 7th fret, E string 5th fret, and then A string 5th fret. Okay, so I'm going to just play the root notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, G. So 3 and 7 and 5 and 5. 3 on E, 7 on A, 4 on E, 5 on A. Nice. Okay. Cool. And then at the end of that sequence, we just come back to the G7 and we sit there for one whole bar. So our 12 bar consists of 4 bars of G7, 2 bars of C7, 2 bars of G7, and then we're going to go. Nice. Okay. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh no, have I done something silly? Yeah, I've missed out on the bars. Sorry, folks. I'm going to have to add a little bar in, aren't I? bit of a schoolboy error there. So we're going to go 2 to. So apart from my glaringly obvious error, we're going to put 2 bars of G7 at the end as well. Okay, so that it adds up nicely. Okay, here we go. So 4 bars of G7, 2 bars of C7, G7. Then our little chord sequence. Then the beginning. Okay, here we go. Nice and slow, with lots and lots of space. 1, 2, 3, 4, G. 2, 3, 4, G. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, C7. G7. Then our little turnaround where we go G2, E2, A2, D2, G2, 3, 4, and G2. Ready to the beginning. G2, 3, 4, G2, G2, C2, 3, 4. Then a little turnaround G and E and A and D and G. 2, 3, 4 G2 beginning and G2 or G2 3, 4 G2 3, 4 G and C and back to G. Then our little turnaround. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Beginning. G2, 3, 4, 2. C7. We're back to G. Last time for sure. And G2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4, G2. And turn around. And G2, 3, 4. Lovely. Okay, hopefully you all got a nice little vibe there. Good. You all look relatively happy. That's good. That's a positive thing. It's just nice to play that. It's kind of perfect for this weather as well, isn't it? Great. Okay, let's look at, I think we'll sort of skip to the more advanced thing now. Okay, we'll get as many people playing that as possible, and then we'll look at the sort of soloing kind of thing as well. All right. Okay, first off, we're going to learn the more advanced way of doing this turnaround. Now, some of you might have been able to jump ahead and just learn it, but to be honest, I'd probably wait anyway, because actually all these little steps are really helpful to work through. So we've played the basic chords already. All right, we've gone G7, E7, A minor 7, D7. Okay, that's 50% of the battle. Well, maybe more like 40%. Then after that, we have a bass line. Now, I did actually show you the root note bass line. And that would be really cool if you can play that. This is building up to more advanced, by the way. well, kind of super advanced really. So don't worry if even just playing those chords was pretty tricky. So you can try and play that little root note, bass note, but actually what happens is we get this. So let's look at that. We go from our 3, and then we go up to our 8 on the A, and then we go down to our 7 on the A, then we go down to 6 on the E, then the 5 on the E, then we go up to the 6 on the A, the 5 on the A, and the 4 on the E again. And we resolve in the next bar on the G. Now what's happening there is we're simply playing a root note, and then rather than going directly to the next root note, we just go the one note above. And it sounds uber jazzy because rather than even walking up to it, we go above it and go down. So it's kind of like we hear a chord, and then rather than hear the chord that we want to hear, we've gone even higher, and then we're dragged back in. So it has this lovely sort of jarring, but in a kind of a smooth way kind of feel to it. Okay, so let's take it a little bit slower this time and look at it in that way. So you've got your main root notes, 3, 7, 5, 5, but we're going to go one note above each of those root notes. So we go 3, 8, 7, oh hold on, sorry, 3, 8, 7, and then rather than going to 5 on the E, we go to 6 on the E, then 5 on the E. Rather than going 5 on the A, we go 6 on the A, and then 5 on the A. Then we go to the beginning again on 3 on E, but this time we'll go 4 on E, and then the 3. So let's recap that. The root notes, 3, 7, 5, 5. But we play one note before each one. Start with 3, then go up to 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3. And you can play it around in a nice little loop. 3. Okay, I'm actually just going to play that bass line round and round and round, and you can try and give it a go joining in. Slower. Yeah. Cool, I can see some of you guys really getting that, which is fantastic. It ain't easy. All right, let's put the whole thing in there now. So this is super tricky. So we play our little riff that I actually showed you right at the beginning, where we go thumb and then fingers, thumb, index and middle. Okay, so I just played these two notes. Remember, if you're a beginner or an intermediate even, this is hard, okay, really hard. So we're going 3 and then 3 and 4, or thumb, index, middle. Okay, then we go right up to the 8 on the A. Okay, at this point, it could be any finger really. I tend to do my second because it leads nicely into the next one. Okay, so what we do is we play the 8, and then we go down to 7, but just form the E7 straight away. So then we go down to 7, play the 7, and then play the other half of the E7. So you should see the same as we did just on G7. So we're going. okay, but then playing the bass note in between. So we've gone G7 like that. We've got a bass note of 8, and then we've got E7 in the same way. Okay, then we have another bass note, that random one before the root note, which is 6. Now, what finger? I would really strongly recommend you use your first finger here, okay? Because we're going to hopefully use our other finger to let the notes ring out, which we'll come to in a little bit. Okay? Then we're going to go down to A7, and here you might want to start thinking about using a bar, but it's totally up to you. We play our A7, thumb, index and middle. Then we go to 6 on the A, and then we go down to 5 on the D7, but actually it's just the D7, right? And then we go down to 4 on the E. Again, I would use your first finger. Okay. Cool. That's a lot to take in. Now, if you want to make it sound super jazzy, what you want to be trying to do is letting each chord kind of ring as long as possible. Okay, that's why what finger you use can be really helpful to think about. Okay, we can't do it with everyone. So, for example, the G7, I could tap the bass or something like that, but we don't want to do. Yeah, maybe that's cool. I'll start doing that. But I think really the main thing is that you've got to understand you play that G7 and then move up to the 8. And then from then, when we play the E7, you're going to try and let at least one note ring out as you play the next bass note. So when I go to that 6, my 7 on the G is still ringing out. When I play the A minor 7, I can have the whole chord ringing out if I use a bar. Lovely. Nice little clash there for you. And then the D7, we can let that 5th fret G string ring out as we go to play 4. Alrighty, well, I'll just let you guys sort of enjoy playing around that for a little second. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okie doke. So another element of this is to think about the rhythm. Okay, a 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. All right, that's going to really help you. Now it's super tricky, so please don't beat yourself up if you can't do this straight away, or in fact just can't do it or have no idea what I'm talking about. What we can do is we can just play the basic chords. Okay, so I'm just going to play through those again right from the beginning. I'm going to go G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, up to C7, 2, 3, 4, back to G7. Going to play the chords and G2, E2, A minor 17, G2, 3, 4, G2, then the beginning again. 2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4, C2, that's quite a challenge in itself. 2, 3, 4, 2. Okay, and round again. This time I'm going to play the sort of main, more complex bit. Then C7. Here it comes, 3, 4. Beginning and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Back to G7, and then. Excellent. Well, I hope some of you guys have been able to play a little bit of that. If you just end up playing the chords, I think actually that's quite the achievement anyway. If you took in any of the bass line stuff, that's super cool. If you can play it, then hats off. If you can play it with chords ringing out, then serious hats off, because it's really hard. I like to throw in some stuff there for your more advanced players, and also just, I don't know, stuff that's further off as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Let's look at some noodling over the top, okay? Actually, noodling in between chords and just playing in a solo way can be really nice. Kind of thing, okay? One of the reasons this is super cool for that is because we've got a really lovely scale right where we're playing these chords, all right? Nothing crazy. We're talking about jazz, and many of us are probably expecting us to talk about modes and all that kind of stuff, but actually take a G minor pentatonic and stick some blue notes in, and you've got all the jazz you want. All right. Also, it means that at our disposal, we've got all our open notes as well for added jazz and kind of like little folky licks as well. So let me teach you that scale. I've got it written down in the notation. But it goes like this, all right? G minor pentatonic, folks. First finger, 3rd fret E string, and then little finger, 6th fret E string. Then up to the A string, we're going to go 3, 5. D string, 3, 5. G string, 3, 5. B string, 3, 6. And E string, 3, 6. Let's have a look at how that looks on the tab. Oh, look at that. It looks a little bit mangled after my not being able to count to 12 escapade. So we've got the G minor pentatonic all the way up to here. All right. That's what we've just been playing. However, I've also put some nice blue notes in, which when played on their own sound horrific. Actually, no, maybe that's quite cool. But when you play it with the G minor pentatonic, it sounds weird. So here is the G minor pentatonic, and then after that, I've thrown in some bluesy jazzy notes. Okay, which is our 6th fret on the G string, 4th fret on the G string, 4th fret on the D string, and 4th fret on the A string. With these notes, try and play them as passing notes. Okay, don't sit around on them because it will sound weird, like this. Actually, let's have a better example. Kind of sounds weird. Okay, we don't want that. We want passing notes. Okay, but ultimately, for the more or the less confident player, stick with the G minor pentatonic, and you can try and play some nice little phrases in between. As an example, okay, what I was just playing there was, and I don't mean this in the that was really easy kind of way, I mean that this was actually what I was doing was kind of simplistic. I was pretty much just really working with the top 4 notes of G minor pentatonic. And that's a great place to stick. Even just if you work with G7, don't worry about the 12 bar thing, you can just go. Yeah, you kind of get the idea, right? Keeping it simple can be really cool. On the other hand, you can, really go to town on it. It's totally up to you. Right, wonderful. I suggest we have a little jam round. I'll play the 12 bar for you. And of course, totally up to you if you want to play just the chords. I say just the chords. It's not like that's easy. I mean only the chords. Or if you want to do some soloing. Or maybe you want to squeeze in that. Or maybe you want to stick some rhythm in. It's totally up to you. Just enjoy jamming along. I think I'll leave the tab up because I think that can be quite helpful. If you want to screenshot it so you can keep it, that's totally fine. That's what it's there for. All right, I'm going to get that tab back. Here we are. Maybe even a little bit of that. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Beginning. C7, G, little riff, C7, G, little riff, and again. Little riff. And again. Little riff. Again. This time I'll just do the chords. I screwed up there, sorry. Beginning and C, back to G, little turnaround. Last time. 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Back to G. And nice, fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoyed playing along to that. Great, thank you. It's yeah, it's a lovely way of playing, and even if you just dabble in it, it's cool. I think for me, why it was originally super cool, I think, was just to actually understand what was going on, because you hear this crazy thing and you're like, what's going on, what's going on? But if by just looking at this riff with those and then understanding all that we're doing is we're playing the note above it. Get other sort of walking bass, and we don't always have to go to the note above. We can actually just do a sort of a bass line. That walks up and down. Okay, we can do playing the we can do sort of playing into the chord, so playing the note below the chord. There's a million different options and sort of different approaches that work, but hopefully at the very least this sort of demystifies it a little bit anyway. I know some of you guys really like this. I'm going to stop recording at this point, and you can